Hi there. This video is, I suppose, for Avran, but it could just as well be for Kier. I'm going to make a couple videos that both boys could use. Um, yeah, because we're going to be using the same sort of tricks and tips and techniques and basic terms, and it's kind of cool that I have a chance to talk to both of you at once. So I want to talk about some different kinds of scales today. First of all, I want to throw a word out there that's actually get a piece of paper, okay? You can press pause on the video and come on back when you have a piece of paper. Um, okay, ready? Good. Got a piece of paper and a pen? If you don't, press pause. Go get a pen. Okay, so here's the deal. Most of the scales that we know, right? There's a C major, right? There's an A minor. That's a major scale, right? And this is a minor scale. Either one of them uses 7 plus 1 tone, right? And it basically stays in a key. Those are called diatonic scales. And the word I want you to spell is diatonic. It's D-I-A-T-O-N-I-C, diatonic. Any major scale, any minor scale, and any mode as well, which is just a different way of using the exact same notes. Like if I played the C scale from D to D, that's called a Dorian mode. There are names for all of these sets of notes. If I go from here to here, that one sounds weird, right? And it's all just basically the exact same notes that we had, right? From F to F is really fun. It's not a bad idea for you to try these all out, just like I know you already know how to do. Going 1, 2, 3, tuck your thumb, and all the rest of your fingers. Now this one sounds different and strange compared to the C scale because it has this note. Normally on an F major scale we would lower it to B flat. But this is a mode, like I said. Things like this is... A lot of famous melodies use different kinds of modes rather than just the major or the minor scale. Like if I wrote a tune that depended mainly on G7 and it wasn't trying to get back to C chord but was actually living in G7, it's a mode that I'm using. Anyway, there's another kind of scale. There's actually several kinds of scales. This one that I'm about to show you is a chromatic scale. Take your piece of paper and write this down. C-H-R-O-M-A-T-I-C. I'm sure you've already heard this word and you might have even played one. But a chromatic scale has a very specific fingering on the piano, and it's something that we can use a lot, and it's a good exercise. So I'm going to start with my thumb on C, then I'm going to put my third finger on C sharp, then my thumb on D, my third finger on D sharp, my thumb on E, my second finger on F. That's a very important thing because then it brings my third finger back to the next black note at F sharp. G, thumb, 3, 1, 3, 1, 2. And I want to end on 2 so that I can keep going up if I want to. And by the way, notice how coming backwards, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 1, 3, 2. It's the same fingering. Your third finger is going to play every single black note on the course of the scale. See that? It's also really important not to have it straight out and stiff, but have it more curved, right? And this is a good way to usually imagine your hand approaching the keys, like that. So my thumb takes almost every single white note, except for the ones that are to the right of another white note. Then I need my second finger, so I can come back into 3. So I want you to practice this going up and down at least 1 octave, and then come back down. After you've gotten good at it in 1 octave, please take it further. You don't have to end from C to C because this is the thing about a chromatic scale. None of the notes are more important than any of the other notes, right? They're all a half step apart. There's no way for our ear to say where is the beginning and where's the end of this thing. Unlike a diatonic scale, which has a a very defined finish, defined end, and also a defined midpoint that doesn't quite sound quite right, as finished as a major scale does, right? Or a minor scale. We do little things to minor scales to make them sound a little bit more even. Like if I go, this is from A to A. If I play all the white notes from A to A, right, you can hear as we approach the final note, sometimes people sharp that note and then land on the root. See that? And then flat them out again on the way back down. It's a really fun scale, as a matter of fact. And if you have some time to play it, why don't you? I'm going to talk about it again. Here I go. A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A. Right? So the reason that our ears can take a set of tones and hear, like psychologically speaking, one of the notes feels finished, and some of the notes feel unfinished. And some of the notes sound like they go together with the harmony, and some of the other notes feel like they're moving away from the harmony, and some feel like they're pushing us to return to home, right? Is because of the arrangement of whole steps and half steps. Now, I want to take a second to talk about that. I have a whole step here, and then a whole step here, and then a half step. See that? Then another whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. That is the way that every single major scale is built. Let's pick another key. I'm going to play the key of D. See how if I go D, E, that's a whole step. F sharp, that's a whole step. G, that's just a half step. A, whole step. B, whole step. C sharp is a whole step and then a half step. There's always a half step between the third and fourth and the seventh and final notes of any major scale. So our ears are sorting the proportions and intervals between notes and hearing where notes are closer together and tighter together and trying to take clues from the sounds to say what should I expect is the final note, right? So I want you to take a second to play a chromatic scale and then play just the major scale and feel how different that is, and then back to the chromatic scale. Now I want to watch this. This might actually end up being a second. No, I'm going to go ahead and do it right now. A chromatic scale, remember, had every half step. Now I want you to write down on your piece of paper. You can pause the video as soon as I tell you what it is so you can write it down. I want you to write down whole tone scale, just like WHOLE, space tone, space scale. A whole tone scale is neat. Every single note is a whole step apart from the next note. See that? How many notes are there? I know that octaves repeat and that there's notes in between the keys and all those things. But the number of notes that there are in one given octave that are non-repeating on a piano is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then it starts over again, right? So if I skip one note every time, and here's the fingering for this whole tone scale, it's super fun. C, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp, C. C, A sharp, G sharp, F sharp, E, D, C. I suppose I could call any of these notes different names. I could call that G flat or A flat or B flat. Now I want to go over that fingering real quick. 1, 2, tuck. 2, 3, 4, tuck. They're really neat. A lot of famous composers use whole tone scales to great effect, including Claude Debussy and prominent jazz composers like Thelonious Monk. So now, if there's one set of whole tone notes, like all these notes, right, there can only be one other whole tone scale, right? Just like there's only one chromatic scale in total with no particular beginning or end. There's really only two whole tone scales with no particular beginning or end, because your ear doesn't have any place to grab onto it and say, oh, there's a half step, right? This is the other whole tone scale. Let's see, I'm going to go B, C sharp, G sharp. I'm going to end this video shortly because it seems like a 10-minute video is a long time to listen to somebody talk while they point at the piano keys. But anyway, to review, I want you to learn the chromatic scale, the fingering that I just showed you for your right hand. I want you to practice some diatonic scales, mainly just going from one white note to another white note an octave away. It could be any of them, really. The A minor natural is really good. The G mixolydian, that's the one that has a flat 7, is really good. The Dorian is cool. And then I would like you to play some of these whole tone scales. This one and also this one. This one's really neat. One quick word about this. It's always 1, 2, 3, 1. Oops. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I know a wonderful saxophonist. He's a wonderful saxophonist, but he's also an excellent pianist. And I saw him tear that whole tone scale apart, just like Thelonious Monk does. And I was like, man, how do you do that so fast? And he's like, I only use the one that uses the same fingers every time. Okay, so I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to make another one. That was a scale and scale theory video that I wanted to talk about with you guys. Okay, I'm going to make you another one. The next one's going to be about chords, okay, and about some chord exercises. Nice to talk to you. I'll be seeing you in a minute. Bye-bye.